Hey guys, it's me. All right. Something incredible just might happen. RFK Jr. might pull off something that could obliterate the mainstream media as we know it. You've seen those cringe Big Pharma ads, right? Well, what if they just vanished like a puff of smoke? You might be thinking, so what, Rich? They don't really bother me. I could take them or leave them while I'm watching McCall's Navy. Guys, in this video, I'm going to break down what happens if he bans those ads. And if he's successful, it's explosive. It will change the entire world as we know it. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So, word on the street is that RFK Jr. is planning to ban Big Pharma advertisements on television. Now, if that's true, and seriously, may the political gods smile upon us, it would be a game changer for the country. You know those super cringy drug commercials with smiling old people paddleboarding through their golden years with a voiceover that lists 47 potential side effects, including anything from halitosis to death? Yeah, those. Imagine them vanishing from your screen. Now imagine what happens next. What if the media's golden goose suddenly ran out of golden eggs? First up, say goodbye to the corporate media's piggy bank. I'm not being dramatic when I say we're all going to experience in real time the firing of the top fake news media anchors. Networks will lose it. Some networks might even collapse faster than a tray of gluten-free cookies at a bake sale. Why? Because the entire mainstream media business model is a facade. It's fake. It's phony. It's fraud. It's kind of like a U.S. aid fraud scam. Seriously, these media giants aren't rolling in dough because their content is Pulitzer worthy. They're being held up by one very lucrative crutch, Big Pharma ad dollars, but not for the reasons you might think. So, what if everything you thought about the mainstream news was a bought and paid for illusion, like the U.S. aid fraud scams? Second up, Big Pharma doesn't advertise to sell drugs. It pays big bucks to be ignored. You think, Rich, how the hell is that happening? You pay big bucks to put an ad out. You're not trying to be ignored. Well, listen up, because that's right. Big Pharma isn't buying ad space to move their products. It's buying silence. Those drug commercials aren't there to convince grandma to call her doctor about Smile-Gexa because grandma deserves to giggle again. That is just wildly overpriced hush money schemes disguised as marketing. The real reason Big Pharma floods TV with ads is to prevent reporting on its own corruption. That sweet ad money is a bribe, an unspoken deal to keep the networks quiet. Shh, don't talk about our shady side and we'll keep your lights on and your wallet's fat. Now, you know why all the big guns in media attacked RFK Jr., right? It was never about some goofy plans that he floated from time to time over the years. It was never about him having an authoritarian complex and hating vaccines and wanted to end HHS. Rah! It was always about the money. But if RFK Jr. yanks the power cord, the truth might finally hit primetime news. Wouldn't that be a nice change of pace? Seriously, we might actually see honest reporting for once. I'm talking about actual journalism. Remember that? I'm old enough to remember. Yeah, real investigative journalism, the kind that used to win awards before they started collecting dust. Imagine our mainstream news media reporting on things like doctors getting kickbacks disguised as consulting fees for pushing certain prescriptions, drugs that don't really do what they claim to do in those commercials, peer-reviewed studies mysteriously funded by the very companies they're objectively reviewing, medical journals quietly burying negative study results to keep their advertisers happy. And what about those untouchable regulatory agencies? Yeah, the CDC and the FDA that have somehow dodged scrutiny for decades. Gee, I wonder how that happened. In other words, journalism that holds powerful institutions accountable. What a throwback. That was the whole reason why our founders gave us the First Amendment protections for the media. Guys, a reckoning is coming. Let's be honest. Once Big Pharma ad money disappears, so does the media's corporate muzzle. Just like that. They might actually remember how to do journalism. Maybe. When The pharma cash runs dry. The gag order lifts. Stories that were once off limits will suddenly flood the airwaves like they were there all along. And they'll tell us they were there all along. Because this rabbit hole is deep. If RFK Jr. has his way, we're talking about a war on the drug cartels in white lab coats and the news anchors reading their scripts for a paycheck. In the end, if RFK Jr. actually bans Big Pharma ads, we could be staring at the biggest media shakeup in decades. The grip of pharmaceutical dollars on mainstream reporting, gone. And what rises in its place? Maybe, just maybe, truth. Journalism with an actual spine. Accountability with bite. And for once, news that doesn't insult your intelligence. Thank you for watching. Hit that notification bell if you want to be kept up to date with who's really pulling the strings behind your nightly news. I'll see you in the next one.
Too many secrets, too many closed doors. We're sick to cover-ups. We're sick of the cover-ups. Want the truth and nothing more. The veil's been lifted, the jig is up. No more drinking.